Hi guys, welcome to Vesna TV. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today I have a collection of all of my spring themed DIYs that I've done this year, so let's get started.
They're all super easy to make and inexpensive. So to start, I'm using a candle from the Dollar Tree and a napkin from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just separating the napkin into just the thinnest piece possible and just using the piece that has the design on it. And I'm just going to wrap the candle with this napkin. I'm going to measure it out, wrap it with the napkin, and then I'm going to use some parchment paper. Now you can use parchment or wax paper, but parchment paper is better. And I'm going to heat it up. Now when you're wrapping it, you want to make sure you don't overlap. You'll see that I overlapped in some pieces, but if you overlap, it's not going to work. So you just want to make sure that you're not overlapping anything and that you're just sticking to the a single layer of your napkin. Now you need the parchment paper because you're going to be heating up the napkin onto the candle. So basically you're gluing it onto the candle. I'm using a heat gun. You could use a blow dryer or even an iron if you wanted to, but I feel like with an iron you run the risk of burning yourself. So I'm just using a heat gun. Be careful because heat guns are hot too, so you could burn yourself as well. And I'm just heating it up until I see that the napkin is kind of sticking to the candle. So you might have to double check, just depends on how hot your heat gun is. And just keep on doing that until you get it to stick. And that's all there is to this cute little DIY. Super easy, but really, really cute. And now you have an Easter candle for under $2 basically, because I think these candles are either two for $1.50, well $1.75 now because our Dollar Tree went up, but or even if it's just one, but a set of napkins, you get a whole bunch of napkins. So, and you're not even using one. So here is what it looks like all finished. Really, really cute. I love the way it turned out. And like I said, inexpensive, easy, and very, very cute. Let me know what you think. Now for this next one, I'm using the leftover pieces of that napkin, and I did have one of these eggs. You can get a whole set of them at either Dollar Tree or Dollarama. Now I had this leftover from before, and I'm using some Mod Podge, and I'm just going to Mod Podge the leftover napkin onto this egg so that way it is a matching egg to the candle. And that can be a nice little addition to a tray on your coffee table, or if you do any kind of tier tray decor or anything like that, just a nice little addition to your decor. When you're applying the Mod Podge, because the napkin is so thin, you want to be very careful how you're applying it because you could rip your napkin. So I am using my fingers because I have a better feel for it, but you could use a sponge as well. And just apply it over top of the napkin until you get the desired coverage that you're looking for. This you can overlap. So here it is, all finished, really fast, really inexpensive, super easy, and matches the candle. Here they are both together, so you can see what they look like. Let me know what you think of this, and if you plan to recreate anything, this is great because you can really choose any kind of napkin you want. Now for this next one, this one is a little bit more involved. So what I'm doing is I'm using some felt as my backing. I was going to make two, but it just took me a little bit longer than I had time to do. So for the purposes of this video, I'm only making one, but I will make a few extra so I can have them as coasters. And I just freehand drew a bunny face. Now you could, if you have the cutouts from Dollar Tree, or if you wanted, you could use the little wood part from the Dollar Tree as well. You didn't have to use a felt, but this way, this is what I had on hand. I don't know if you watched my videos before, but I'm trying not to buy new things from the Dollar Tree, so I'm just using everything that I have left over. So anyway, I'm just cutting out the bunny head that I freehand drew on my felt, and I'm going to use that as my guide to make my coaster. So I'm using some jute rope, and I'm just going to start in the middle by hot gluing a little circle, and then I'm just going to go around and around and around and do like a little spiral. First I thought I might go around the bunny, like do a little frame around the bunny's head, but then I decided that I wanted to do the spiral effect. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I'll play some music for you because this did take me a little while, and I'll speed it up just a touch so you can watch while I just glue everything on. And I'm using hot glue. Just be careful because the hot glue gets hot, so use something to protect your fingers so you don't burn yourself. And then just when you're nearing the ears, all I did was I just cut little pieces and I just did straight lines on the ears. I didn't do a spiral, obviously, because it would be too difficult to try and do a spiral on the ears. And then that was all there was to the gluing part. And then after I completed my jute rope, I went ahead and I just covered everything with Mod Podge, and I did this so that way it would harden and it would protect it from any wetness or anything like that, because I am planning on using these as coasters. So that way they're nice and protected and they're nice and hard. So let me know what you think of this one. Here it is all completed. The Mod Podge does dry clear, so you don't have to worry about the white showing or anything like that. And if you had any of the hot glue or anything like that kind of showing, you can clean it up now. And yeah, really easy, just a little bit more time consuming than the other ones, but again, inexpensive. And for the very last DIY, it's another easy one, but a little bit more time consuming and a little bit more involved. So I'm starting with this little plate from the Dollar Tree. It's actually a little plate for planters, so it's a garden dish. And what I'm doing is I'm going to be covering it with jute rope. Now, what I wanted to do was I wanted to use um, grapevine for this. We do have some in my mom's garden, but the snow is so high that we couldn't get at it. I mean, we could, but I didn't really want to be knee deep in snow. So I didn't use it this time. So I'm kind of doing that effect, but with jute rope. So I'm wrapping it around in jute rope, but I'm not doing a straight line all around where like it's all nice and neat. I'm doing a very messy wraparound with jute rope, and then I'm going to be adding some thinner rope over top, so it kind of gives the effect of a grapevine. And I saw this on Pottery Barn. They had a little kind of container like this that they were selling that looked like it was made out of grapevines. So if you do have some, you could do that really easily. It's very easy to work with them, and obviously you would need a garden dish. You just kind of wrap it around and keep on wrapping it around until you get the desired look and the size that you want. But I'm using jute rope and some thinner rope to get that same effect with this garden dish. And again, be careful because the hot glue can burn your fingers. I'll speed it up a little bit, so I'm speeding it up a little bit so that way it's not super boring watching me wrap it around, but I do want to show you me wrapping it around so that you can see that I did do a messy wrap around. And the reason, like I said, I added the thinner rope was so that it would give that look of grapevines, because some of them are thinner, some of them are thicker. Now after I put the thin rope, I went ahead and I put a little bit more of the thicker rope just to get enough coverage so that it gives me the look that I was going for. And then I went ahead and I spray painted the entire dish, including the jute rope, in a hammered brown spray paint, so that way it looks more like grapevine, a little bit darker, and like I said, more like the grapevine. If you don't have the hammered spray paint, if you just have brown, you could do like a darker brown spray paint, and then you could even do a wash of a little bit of black, but like very, very thin. You could mix a little bit of black acrylic paint into a spray bottle with a little bit of water and just spray it on a little bit and then just dab it on. But up to you. You could make your own little mixture, but this is what it turned out like. And I really like the color a lot. And then to add to this piece, I added some of my, just some egg carton. You could do floral foam, or you could do anything to put at the bottom here to stick your flowers in, but I used egg carton because that's what I had. And I'm just hot gluing it to the bottom and cutting it to size. And then I'm adding these hyacinths from the Dollar Tree, and I am separating them so that I have more, because I'm using 3 bundles, but I'm going to separate them so I have 6 altogether. And then I'm going to be just putting them in there, pushing them through the little holes from the egg carton, and then I'll be spraying some tacky glue on to the egg carton, and then I'm adding some deer moss to it, and that's all there is to this DIY. And here it is all finished. I think it turned out really cute and makes a great addition again to my spring slash Easter DIYs, decor, whichever. I'm putting it on my coffee table and it'll look really, really great. I'm really hoping that I do have a spring slash Easter home decor video over on my home channel, but I've been slacking off with that channel, so hopefully I do get it, but we'll see. Let me know what you think of these. Now I do have a little bonus here at the end that I've added. This is a 3D printed bunny. My video did not do so well from the last time that I posted. I'm guessing that you guys weren't super big fans of the 3D printed bunnies, but I did want to add this last one for you guys to see once I'm done showing you this little hyacinth DIY. Now the bunny, I saw these again on Pottery Barn. I saw these kind of like they looked like wedge bunnies. They looked like kind of not knitted, but they were like they were I can't think of the word. Anyway, I think you get what I'm going at. They look like a basket, like weaved. There we go, weaved bunnies. So I found a 3D knitted print bunny, and so I printed that. And I really like all the details. It even has like a little button. And I just spray painted him in this pink paint, and that's all there is to it. I just thought I'd share this with you. If you go on Maker World, you can find lots of things. So credit is there. I didn't create this at all. I just printed it and I spray painted it. Anyway, here it is on my coffee table. Let me know what you think of all of these. Like and subscribe. Leave me a message. Let me know what you think. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you can see when I post new videos. Thank you so much. Have a great day and stay safe. Thanks for watching. So what I'm doing is I'm creating some 3D prints. I got a 3D printer and I went on just a Maker World because I got the bamboo 3D printer and I created some designs. I just have the A1 mini, so I found a whole bunch of free designs and I just 3D printed them, and then I'm just going to go ahead and paint them my way. So instead of using colored filament, I wanted to add some extra texture to them and just recreate them a little bit and show you what you could do if you had a 3D printer or if you had access to a 3D printer. So here I'm just showing you, the first picture was a bunny holding a little bowl, and I thought this would be a cute little decoration for my coffee table or on my island. And I just wanted to show you a little time lapse of him being built by my little mini 3D printer. I just love, this was one of my favorite purchases. The whole family actually really loves it, and it's been so useful. So I created this guy. I created another little mini bunny that's also textured like this guy, and then I created another little bowl and another little it's a key ring, but I'm going to be using it for chocolates. So this guy, you can see this guy has supports. So if you're new to 3D printing, everything that kind of needs support so it doesn't fall down as it's being built, the printer does provide, not the printer, this design has supports for it. So if you're doing your own design, you have to put the supports in. This one had the supports already with it, so, and they just come off really easily. Usually you can just use your hands to kind of take them off. Sometimes you have to use little pliers. I'll show you the pliers in the next little clip in case you can't take them off with your hands. So I've got my creations here, and I'm going to go ahead and spray paint them all in gray, and then I'm going to give them a concrete effect. But I want to give them a gray, if I have gray spray paint. If I don't, I'm going to do black. But I want to give them a base, so that way I can have an easier time just making them look like concrete. But I really like the details of these that the 3D printer did. I think it did a great job. And they'll be great little bowls and decorative pieces. Let's see, nice little bunny. This one has, like, you can even see the fur in here. It's really cute. And this guy still has because it needed supports. So, and with these, if you can't get them off with your hand, a friend of mine gave me this nifty little tool, and that can take all of your supports off. And then I keep all of the filament poop and stuff, and I'm going to try and melt it to form something else. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and spray paint these, and then I'll show you what they look like once they're spray painted. So I wound up going in a little bit of a different direction. I spray painted this guy black, and now I'm going to add more black on top, some black acrylic paint, and I'm going to add some baking soda into the black acrylic paint. Now what I want to do is I want to get a little bit of a texture, so I want it to look like rough concrete. So depending on how much texture you want on your piece is how much baking soda you're going to add. Now you can see I didn't fully cover this guy in my initial coat of spray paint, and that's just because I knew I was going to be adding this coat on top. So again, you just apply how much baking soda you want. You can see I used a couple tablespoons of baking soda just to get the texture that I wanted, and I'll lift up the little bowl here so you can see exactly how much, what the texture looks like. And it's more like it's kind of like a paste, like a gritty paste is what you want to get that nice concrete look. And I love this look because it just gives that just added texture to all of my painted pieces. So this is what it looks like Hopefully you can kind of see what I mean by the thickness of like a little paste. And then you just apply it to your piece to get full coverage, and that's all there is to this guy. And once you've applied as much paint as you want to get the coverage that you're looking for, that's all there is to it. Just make sure you let this dry overnight before you use it. Now I want to use this as a little bowl for chocolates, so I will be spraying it with a wax sealer. And I'm just doing that because if hands get in there and they start, like nails start scraping, so it'll prevent it from getting the paint scratched off. So it's just a little bit of an extra protection on there. You don't have to do that, but I'm just going to do that so I don't have to touch it up later on. But anyway, here is what he looks like, all completed and all decorated with some Easter chocolates in the little bowl part. Let me know what you think. Here he is. So for this next little guy, what I'm doing is I'm using still some of that black paint, and I'm just going to add two kinds of silver paint. One is a more of a metallic paint, and the other one is just a silver paint, silver gray paint. And I'm just adding them in there and adding lots of white paint to get a light kind of gray color. To be honest, I probably should have scraped some of the black out and just put more of the silver and white, but I wound up just using more white than I needed to, and then I had lots of paint left over, but that's okay. So I'm using this combination for the little bunny that has like a little He's holding like a little bowl. Not holding a little bowl. He's got the little, you'll see. Anyway, this guy I'm going to use like a little vase almost for mini plants. The little succulents that you can get at the Dollar Tree is what I'm envisioning. Or if the snow ever melts and we have some little spring flowers that we can get, you know, maybe even tulips or anything like that that I can put in to some water, or some any kind of spring flowers that come up once the snow melts. If it melts before Easter's done, that I can maybe put in just this little mini vase here. But that's what I'm envisioning. So it's this little guy. So I did spray paint him gray, and I just want to have gray on top of him, so that way he looks like he's cement, kind of like that picture that you saw in the first, like when I was first showing you the beginning of the video. I feel like I'm rambling, but anyway, I'm doing the same idea, just adding more white so it's a little bit lighter, and I'm going to add a little bit more baking soda so it's a little, because I added so much paint, so it's a little bit thicker and has a little bit more consistent, a little bit more texture. And I'm going to paint him out so he's covered, and that's all there is to him. And that's all there is to him. And once he's all fully covered, I let him dry. I don't seal him because I'm not going to, he's not going to get a lot of traffic. If I do wind up using him like a vase, I will use a little glass or plastic container inside before I won't put the water directly in there. Although you could, because it is waterproof, it's plastic. But I just won't do that because I don't want to. But anyway, here's what he looks like all styled right now with some fake stuff because I don't have the real stuff. And then so for this last guy, I wound up using a hammered brown spray paint because when I was looking for the gray, I found this one and I thought that would be a neat thing because, you know, bunnies are brown sometimes. So I thought, oh, this would be a neat thing to put on this bunny. So I spray painted him and the other little one the same color. So this is the one with the bowl on top of his head and the little mini one. And then I'm adding a cashmere and espresso brown paint together, and I'm going to mix them together and a little bit of black, and I will be applying this to the bunny. Now I'm doing kind of like a wonky thing with this. I'm adding the paint onto the bunny, and then I'm going to use a paper towel and I'm just gonna wipe it off. So I add it on and I wipe it off. I add it on and I wipe it off. And that's just because I can't quite get the exact same paint as the hammered, but I still wanted it to have a little bit of depth. So, and I didn't quite like the shine of the hammered paint. I love the hammered paint, but I just didn't quite like the shine. So I just wanted a little bit of depth and a little bit of richness to this, and I think that the mixture of these and by wiping it on and off with the paper towel, I think it just gives me the look that I was going for. So as you can see, I added the black and now I'm just kind of wiping it off and wiping it on and wiping it off until I get the desired look. And obviously this is kind of whatever your creativity leads you to. Like this is what I wanted to do. You will, if this is the look that you're going for, this is what you want to do, but obviously you can do whatever you want. You could have left the bunny white. You can use filament to color him, whatever floats your boat. I didn't want to do texture to this guy, so I didn't add the baking soda to this paint because he already had these beautiful textured little lines from the printer that looked like fur, so I didn't think he needed any more texture. Originally I thought I would, but then the more I looked at him, I thought that by adding the texture, I would just ruin the actual bunny for this one and the little mini one. So again, it's a wipe on, wipe off type of thing, and I wind up sealing him as well because he will be holding some candy as well. Um, I always have a tray in my dining room or a little vignette in my, not in my dining room, and well, I do have a tray in my dining room, but in my kitchen and in my um, family room, and he's going to be holding some candy, so I want to spray paint him, not spray paint him, oh my gosh, I want to spray him with the wax to protect him and seal him, so that way in case fingers and nails get on him, so he doesn't get scratched off, because this one will especially be hard to touch up because I have so many different paint colors on here. So I definitely want to make sure he is protected. And same with you, if you wind up adding lots of colors to your piece, you want to make sure that it's sealed and protected because it is hard to touch up pieces that are all sorts of different colors. So you just want to make sure you get all the grooves, and that's all there is to this guy. And then for the little mini guy, I do the same thing. I spray painted him. Now I didn't get as much coverage on him as I did on the other one, so I wind up caking on a lot of the paint and obviously wiping it off with the paper towel. I really should use gloves when I do this. My hands were filthy. But anyway, I wind up doing all of that, wipe on, wipe off, and that's all there is to it. Got them done, I think, Both of them turned out really cute. Again, same method. This guy I'm not sealing because he's just going to be a little decorative piece. He is a lot smaller than I thought he would be, but he'll look cute as just like a little addition in a tray. If you do tiered trays, he looks cute in those too. I might even pop him in my bathroom on a shelf. I'm not sure. But anyway, here's what he looks like all finished as well. And let me know what you think of these. Let me know which one was your favorite, and make sure you stop on by next week for some more inspiration. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great day. Stay safe, and make sure you like, subscribe, leave me a comment, and hit that notification bell so you can see when I post new videos. Thanks. So to start, I'm just starting off with a scrap piece of wood. You could do a little plank or a cutting board from the Dollar Tree. The cutting boards are quite hard to nail down, so like to nail in, so just be aware of that. So I'm just using a scrap piece of wood, and I drew an outline of a vase. So this is a super easy and fun DIY. So what I'm doing is I'm just nailing in a few nails into my outline, and I'm going to make basically an outline with nails of a vase. And like I said, you could use any kind of wood, even a cutting board would do, but I tried using one of those bamboo cutting boards and I just had a really hard time getting the nails in, and I wound up cracking the board. So but I am just using whatever nails I have on hand. Some of them are a little bit thicker. So if you go out and buy thinner nails, it might be a little bit easier. I just didn't want to go out and buy things because I'm trying really hard not to buy any supplies and just go through everything that I have because it's gotten out of hand. So anyway, I'm just nailing them down, and there isn't, at least for me, there isn't a set rule of how much I'm putting down. I'm just making sure that I'm even on both sides, and you do want to make sure that the nails are sticking up quite a bit. I mean, they're in there firmly, but you want to have like quite a bit at the top because I am going to be using a rope to finish off my design. You'll see what I mean. So you want to make sure you have room to wrap the rope around. So I go ahead and I do that, and the rope is actually just some twine that I'm using, and it's just the thinner twine. And you can use colorful or any kind that you want. And the nice thing with this is you could do, like, I freehand drew everything, and you could do any kind of shape that you wanted for this. I just did like a basic vase shape because it's spring, and I wanted this to be a fun little spring DIY. And like I said, you could do any kind of shape. You could even do a flower if you wanted to. So I go ahead and I finish that, and then I get my rope or my twine out, and I attach one piece to one of the nails, and I just tie it, and then I cut off the excess, and then I just randomly wrap them around each nail, and there is no set pattern. I just kind of do a random pattern, just fill it in as until I like the way it looks. So this will really depend on what look you're going for and what you want it to look like. For me, I just kept on doing it until I got the look that I was going for. I didn't really have a plan of what look I wanted. Okay, this is what I want. And usually when I do any of my DIYs, I kind of do that on the fly. I start doing it. I have an idea, and then I continue doing it until I get the look that I like. once I finished off my design, I tied it up at the end so that it wouldn't come off, and then I added some fake flowers, some faux flowers, just these lavender sprigs in here. Now, once we've got a dumping of snow, once the snow is gone, and I do have some fresh flowers, I'll put some flowers in that dry nicely, and I could have some fresh flowers in there for the year that dry nicely, and I could have it for the season actually. So, but for now, my faux flowers will do. So that's all there is to this DIY, and I think it turned out really cute. And you can hang it up, you could put it on a tray, you can make it bigger or smaller, whatever you'd like. But here's a cute little idea and very inexpensive to make, and I think it turned out really cute. Let me know what you guys think of this one. So for this next one, another super easy DIY, I still have some of these calendars left over, so I thought I'd use the spring pages from them that I haven't used yet and make my vases. So I'm just using March, April, I think in May from these, and I'm going to be making little cone vases out of these. Obviously you can't use them for water, but they are just for your faux flowers. And like I said, because we have a dumping of snow, I can't really go into my garden and get some spring flowers, and they're still a little bit pricey at the store to get them, and I haven't even seen too many spring bulbs yet. So my faux flowers will have to do, and I do love to bring them out kind of middle of February just because it's so gloomy, and then like right after Valentine's Day I like to spring up my house because it makes me happy and it makes my house feel like, warmer weather is coming, because February and January are really harsh months here. And then even March is nice, but March we tend to get a lot of the freezing rain and all that stuff. So anyway, I'm cutting these off into kind of like triangle shapes, but the first one I thought I would make like a actual triangle, and then I realized that if I just cut off the edges and the part where there's a little hole, that's enough. So that's what I wind up doing. And one of them I actually just played around with not cutting it at all. So you'll see me doing that. And basically all I do is, like I said, I cut off the edges that don't look as nice and cut off the corners to make it kind of like a triangle. And then I add hot glue to the edges to make it into a cone. And I attach some jute rope at the very top so that you can hang these if you wanted to. I will speed it up a little bit and I'll put on some music and you enjoy it. And if you have any questions, you make sure you leave those questions in the comments below. So once I get my my cones made and my jute rope attached, I even used, as you can see, the little piece that was left over so that I wouldn't waste any of the paper. I go ahead and I just place some of my spring sprigs that I have in the cones, and I that's all there is to it. Really easy, and again, this is something that you could use dried flowers for as well if you have some, or once if you're able to get some from your garden. But from now, this is all I have here, so this is what I'll be using, but this is what it looks like. I think it turned out really, really cute. I love them, and a great use of these papers. Let me know what you think. And if it's something that you would like to recreate, it's basically free. And if you don't have the calendar pages, you can always print off a page from the internet of to your liking. Okay, so the next DIY is another super easy one. I have these plastic containers from the Dollar Tree that I got a few years ago, and I wanted to use this one, but I wanted to kind of make it a little bit more kind of shabby chic, I guess. So what I'm doing is I'm using some of my linen white from Rust-Oleum. It's the chalk paint, and I am just dabbing on a little bit on to a paper towel, and then I'm just basically wiping it onto the plastic container to give it kind of like a wash finish. Now you can do this with a terracotta pot too. I just didn't have any on hand, or I know I have some actually, I just couldn't find them. I did recently redid some things in my craft room, and I moved some of my pots, and I don't remember where I put them. I moved them out of my craft room, but I don't know where I put them. So I think they're in a little cupboard in my storage where all of my Christmas stuff is, because I thought, oh, I'm not going to need them until the spring, and now it's the spring and I couldn't get at them. So anyway, but I didn't know if I wanted to use those anyway, so I wanted to use this one. But this is the look anyway, even if you did a terracotta one. I wanted to use the plastic one because if I decide to put a real bulb in there, not a fake one, this holds a little bit better than a terracotta, then it won't leak the water out. And so anyway, I'm just, like I said, I'm just washing it off there. I mean, dabbing it on there so to give it like a wash look. And once that dries, then I have a tulip, like a tulip, faux tulip that I have. And I have it's a pumpkin, it's a faux pumpkin from a fall DIY that I had. Not DIY, from a fall craft, like from a fall haul that I got from the Dollar Tree. My goodness, I can't talk. So anyway, so I am creating kind of like a bulb, a tulip on a bulb type of thing. So as you can see here, so what I'm going to do is just cut off the bottoms of the tulips to separate them. And then I'm going to just stick them into this pumpkin so that it looks like it's the bulb of the tulip and the tulips are coming out. And they're going to go into this terracotta pot. And I will be just putting some tissue paper into the pot with some of this deer moss, or some of this moss on top, not deer moss, some of this moss on top. And I'll just spray a little bit of the tacky glue just to keep the moss from spilling everywhere. You could put a few rocks into this pot too, just because it's very light. I didn't, but you can do that so that it doesn't fall down on you. But anyway, this is another super easy, inexpensive one for you to do, and it's just a cute little spring DIY for your tray. If you do a tier tray, or even if you do like a little coffee station or anything like that, just like a little pop of spring. So let me know what you think of this one. I'll show you what it looks like all completed. I think it turned out super cute, really fun and easy DIY. So for the next DIY, it's my very last one. It's probably one of my favorite ones. It's very easy again. I'm just upcycling this glass vase. I have a whole bunch of these left over. I, I don't know where they're from. They're from something. I had bought them a whole bunch of them. They're from the dollar store, but I've had them for years. So anyway, I'm going to make it look kind of like it's a stone vase. So what I'm doing first is I'm wiping it down, making it nice and clean, and then I'm going to paint it with my linen white from Rust-Oleum. It's a chalk paint, and I'm just doing that to give it a base layer. And once that's nice and dry, I'm going to add this cashmere acrylic paint to a little bowl with some baking soda to make it a nice thick paint. And I'm going to paint half of this bottle with this mixture. And I'm not going to paint it fully like where I'm doing a full coverage. I'm more kind of dabbing it on and lightly painting it. You don't want to do like a full, like trying to do a full coverage because the paint will come off of the glass just because of how it adheres to the glass. And you can see I didn't do full coverage with the vase either. I just did a very light coverage with the white. I just wanted it to have some sort of base at the bottom. And I do this with the whole vase. I wind up having to add a little bit more of the baking soda. Usually I do um, about a teaspoon of baking soda to about, I don't know, I want to say like 3 teaspoons of paint. Basically, I just need it to be kind of the consistency of like a thicker paste is what you want it to be. And I do this for the whole vase at the bottom. And then for the top, I do that as well with a different paint. And I'm not too worried about having a straight line where the two colors meet. I kind of want them to blend together. So as you can see, I'm not too worried. I didn't do a painter's tape or anything like that to make a nice clean line. And I am using, as you saw, a warm white. And again, I didn't use a different bowl, so I kind of used the other bowl so the paints would mix. I wanted it to have a little touch of the cashmere left behind. If you wanted more of a clean white look, obviously use a different bowl. I wanted it to have that blending effect. And I just love the way it turned out. So let me know what you think. I think it's a perfect little addition to my spring decor. I put some ferns in there. So here is the completed look. I just love the texture on the vase. I think it turned out really, really nice. And as you can see, the coverage is very like vintagey and it looks almost like handmade, old, and very rustic looking. So let me know what you think. I love the way it turned out. Let me know what you think of all of these. Leave me a comment below. Thank you for stopping by. Thanks for watching. I am really excited about spring. I love decorating for spring. I love summer, so it makes me happy and look forward to has me look forward to nice things to come. So thanks for watching. Leave me a comment below. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when I get new videos. Thanks and have a great day. Stay safe.